Sometimes, it's the tiniest clue that changes everything. A forgotten cigarette butt, silent for nearly 3 decades, became the spark that lit a fire of truth, burned down lies, and uncovered a predator hiding in plain sight. Microphone # welcome to True Crime Hub. Today, we're diving into the haunting cold case of Lisa Donnelly, a bright young nursing student whose life was stolen in 1992. For 27 years, her murder haunted her family, the town, and the lead detectives. Until science, and a mother's unrelenting hope, forced justice to rise from the ashes of a cigarette filter. Lisa Marie Donnelly was the youngest child of Margaret and Paul Donnelly. Raised in the sleepy suburb of Cedar Grove, Illinois, Lisa had always been the caretaker, the quiet achiever, the girl who left sunshine in her wake. At just 23, she was in the final stretch of her nursing program at Cedar Grove Community College. On April 6, 1992, she worked her usual hospital shift and returned home by 3:30 p.m. By 10 a.m. the next morning, she was found dead in her apartment, strangled, sexually assaulted, and surrounded by silence. Police found no signs of forced entry. The only item out of place, a cigarette in a glass ashtray beside her nursing textbook. Lisa had asthma. She didn't smoke. That single clue, dismissed at the time, would one day change everything. Detective Howard Granger led the case. Friends, family, neighbors, all were interviewed. Her ex-boyfriend was ruled out. A mysterious man in a maintenance uniform had been spotted nearby, but no clear ID could be made. Lisa had mentioned to her roommate days prior that someone from maintenance made her feel uneasy, but nothing came of it. A rape kit and cigarette butt were collected, but in 1992, forensic science was slow. DNA evidence existed, but without a direct suspect to test, it sat idle. By 1994, Lisa's case was cold. By 1997, the lead detective retired, haunted by failure. Lisa's mother, Margaret Donnelly, became the beating heart of this story. She never stopped calling, never stopped writing. Every April, she wrote a letter to the police chief. Every birthday, she organized a vigil. And every Christmas, she hung Lisa's stocking. She told every news anchor, her killer is out there. The cigarette. It didn't belong. Margaret founded a group to help families of unsolved cases. She believed that one day, science would catch up, and Lisa would be heard again. In 2016, Cedar Grove PD launched a cold case initiative. Detective Elena Perez was handed Lisa's file. What struck her wasn't just the reports. It was the stack of letters from Lisa's mother. She reopened the evidence and sent the cigarette to the state lab. This time, technology had evolved. In 2017, a full male DNA profile was extracted. Still, no match in CODIS. But Perez had another idea, genetic genealogy. By working with a private lab and public genealogy databases, they found a distant cousin. Then another. Slowly, a family tree formed. And one name stood out, Paul Everett Coates. A handyman. A smoker. A man who once worked at Lisa's apartment complex in the spring of 1992. Paul Coates was quiet. No arrests. No digital trail. But the team placed him under surveillance. In April 2019, Coates tossed a cigarette and soda can into a parked trash bin. Police collected it. It was a match. The DNA linked him directly to the cigarette found in Lisa's room. Investigators found his journals, his routine, and a disturbing pattern of women he had stalked or harassed across multiple towns, none of whom ever came forward. On April 15, 2019, he was arrested. Coates' defense said he had smoked in Lisa's apartment once while repairing a heater. But Lisa's journal documented that she was disturbed by a maintenance man trying to enter, days before her murder. Prosecutors presented forensic evidence. Coates' DNA wasn't just on the cigarette, it was under Lisa's fingernails. Other women testified about his behavior in the early 90s. A behavioral profiler testified that Coates fit the pattern of an opportunistic sexual predator who could live undetected for years. The jury deliberated for just 6 hours. Guilty on all counts. Margaret Donnelly stood in the courtroom, tears in her eyes. Justice took 27 years, she said. But Lisa never left my side. She founded the Lisa Project, a non-profit supporting families of unsolved cases. She also worked to change state policy, requiring all rape kits and forensic evidence to be preserved indefinitely. Lisa's room remains untouched. The original evidence bag, containing the cigarette, is now encased in glass above the fireplace. Microphone # one cigarette. One puff. One careless moment. That's all it took to end a young woman's life. And 27 years later, that same moment brought her justice. Let this case remind us, DNA remembers. Families don't forget. And justice never expires. Thumbs up sign like this video to support forensic science and victims' families. Speech balloon comment below. Should all cold cases be reopened with genealogy? Bell subscribe to True Crime Hub for more real-life stories that prove the truth always rises. Outbox Tray share this video to bring light to forgotten cases.